So you can say that the camera crew wasn't there for like half the episode. Okay. Oh, hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube, or welcome back if this is your ninth Katy Keene chapter review. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks. Well, technically, yeah, a couple weeks. It feels like so long because the whole COVID delays, and I keep saying COVID delays, and it's still happening. It really is. But hopefully Katy Keene is, not as infected, considering the fact that they've already shot the first season before all this has happened, so hopefully we're going for a straight run towards the end. However, I could be wrong on that because I have been wrong many, many times before. But anyway, this chapter, this week, we're back, and it was kind of a weirder episode than usual because, again, there wasn't a promo for this week because with the COVID delays and the CW didn't exactly know when the next episode was going to come out. They instead just did not air a new promo. They just kept it blank. So I had no idea what was to go in for this episode. And this was a very difficult episode, I think, to even promote. Since the way this was formatted is that this was kind of like a weird... It's like, this felt like a setup episode for like what I think the remaining episodes of the season could be, in my opinion. I don't necessarily believe this was the strongest chapter, since again, the way this was edited and paced was unique and different. However, I feel like this isn't something I would prefer. Hopefully this is just a 1 week thing, and this was just for the stylization of the episode, not for the necessary things going forward. Hopefully, I really hope this was just a one-off thing. I think it is a one-off thing, and next week we'll be going back to normal, because I really love getting the interstitial scenes with all the Golden Girls together, where we get to compare notes, get advice, and then see them branch off. They sort of do that here. Pepper's kind of the only link between the three stories of this episode, but it still didn't... Well, technically she had her own story, but I'll get to it in a moment. And in a way, it does make things easier for me as during my butchered recap, because it definitely kind of simplifies things. Like, I could just go in order, and that's kind of cool and kind of makes my job a little bit easier, but I guess, I don't know, I really prefer what they've been doing so far. Your typical format for a television show with story, but anyway. Let's get through the butchered recap. So this episode is, again, very weirdly, considering the fact that we get segments in this episode where we see Katie's story, and then the bulk of it was Josie's story, and then we see a little bit of Jorge's story with Pepper's her running storyline going throughout the three story. We get little pieces in here and here and here. So it kind of feels like everything's been happening simultaneously. But again, so I'm going to go in order as the show progressed. So Katie is beginning her apprenticeship with Guy. Still sounds very weird to say. She's excited. She's happy that she's taking a big step towards her career, her future to become a fashion designer. Everything's doing great. She gets a little champagne from Gloria. Everything's going well. Her first day with Guy does not go well. Literally, she gets sent home the first day. Literally, she's not even there for 5 minutes, and Guy's like, "Your dress is horrible. Go home and get changed." So I'm like, Jesus Christ, Guy is strict. Like, we've seen Guy when we saw him, he was like a bit of a snooty pants, but he was also kind of sweet. But now this is just full on. This is full work mode. Guy. He's taking no shit. He does not. He's a perfectionist. He has a very specific taste, and if he doesn't see that taste being represented in every aspect of what he's seeing, he doesn't like it. Katie goes back home to change, vents to Pepper. Meanwhile, Pepper's dealing with this Twitter hashtag movement against her by someone named Hannah. I can't pronounce it. Her name's Hannah. I'm going to call her that. And Pepper's like, "Hey, listen, you're your own way, Guy's his own way, and you never really had to deal with someone else. You haven't really dealt with you conforming to someone else's way, so this is going to take a little bit of time." So Katie returns the next day, trying to make an impression by organizing everything, making tea for him, bringing him flowers, but none of it works. It just makes things more sour. She tries to mend things by trying to help him out with one of his designs, but it took her an entire day, and it's just been no, you're doing this wrong, do it again, and this is why I don't like to sew. I really freaking don't like to sew. And Katie actually, she cuts herself with the thread, so she's bleeding, she's getting all emotional in Gloria's office. she and Glory have a very nice moment, a very nice quaint moment, but Katy is sent back up to try and do something else for Guy. But however, Guy's already dealing with this mounting deadline that he has to finish these 5 designs to present to Lacey so he can get the full funding to continue his design line. But he's stuck on the 5th one. Katy finds one of his designs in the garbage that he threw away, and she decides to make it with Pepper at home, while Pepper is still dealing with this Twitter war. I feel sorry for Pepper. Like everyone else, but again, Pepper didn't get her own because it started with Katy, then Josie, then Jorge, but not Pepper. I feel sorry for her. But anyway, so next day Katy presents the dress to Guy. He's not happy with it because I rejected this design for a reason. Get rid of it, but then his CFL, his sister, shows up and says, "Oh hey, finally you make the 5th there. All right, let's go get this presentation on the roll." And Guy uses it as a reason to show Katy a valuable lesson on rejection, harsh criticism, which Gloria does not. Well, she doesn't know Katy made this one, and Gloria approves everything except the last one that Katy designs. Well, last one Katy made technically, she didn't design it, but so that doesn't end well. Then they cut to later. Katy's already expecting to be fired, but turns out no. Guy's like, you know what? You did something right here with this dress. You perfected this sewing technique that I wasn't supposed to teach you, but you kind of did learn it, so you kind of have a reason to stay. And they have a moment where Guy is trying to create the 5th dress on Katy herself, and it's a pretty nice moment. It's a pretty nice moment. We got the Josie, which is mostly the bulk of the episode, where she's trying to bring back the Pussycats together. Now, my original confusion on when I saw last week's episode is that I thought that I thought Josie was going to actually reach out to the old Pussycat members from Riverdale and reunite the band. But no, it turns out no, she's going to just bring back the Pussycats as a band together with new members. So, and apparently they're doing this documentary style so that Alex has this in the books in case if they do get famous, they can release this for promotional material. I don't know. I really don't know what Alex is doing, really. Alex is a very weird manager. He really is. I would not like this guy to manage me. He's nice. He has his own passions, but I don't think he cannot manage the crowd. I'm being completely honest here, but so they're heading off to the recording studio to get ready for auditions. However, Mr. Cabot is there. It turns out he already picked out 2 people to be the new Pussycats. Josie's not down for it since she doesn't even know them. She doesn't know how they can work with her or if their singing's even good. He just listen, these are just something from my last business venture that went off-putting. We need to slot them in here. But Josie's not happy. So Josie decides to split off on her own for a bit and tries to find her own Pussycats. And the auditions don't go quite as well as she expects. Everyone is really not a right fit for this band. Even Jorge shows up as Ginger, and that was kind of she only did it for the popularity of if this documentary is released, she can get famous. I guess I really don't know. I don't know what Jorge's up to. We'll get to him in a moment, but. So they can't find anyone. Josie heads off to the bathroom, and then she hears one of the people who auditioned who didn't really know how to sing or had stage fright actually sing really, really well. And Josie overhears this and decides to make her a Pussycat, despite Alex's pleas not to. And then she invites back this drummer who is a bit different than normal, but Josie kind of sees through her and okay, now you're another Pussycat. So she's got her team. They're rehearsing in the studio later on. But Mr. Cabot shows up disappointed, hey, listen, I got you your Pussycat. You need to work with them, not work with these two clowns. And Josie's like, you know what? I don't need your money. I don't need you. I'm going to go solo. I haven't even made a record deal yet, but I'm going solo already from this crap. And she leaves with the new Pussycats. Alex and Mr. Cabot have a fight. And Mr. Cabot pretty much threatens him hey, if you try and do anything against me, I will take away your trust fund. I will take away your apartment. I can take away everything I gave you, and you'll have nothing. But Alex makes the right decision. He goes back to Josie to still be her manager alongside with the new Pussycats. They exchange I love yous, which for me personally it seems like a bit too soon, but you know what? In timeline-wise, I guess it's been 4 months, so I guess the statue, I really don't know. I can't tell you anything, but I don't know. Anyway, so the last bit of the episode, which was kind of really short, was Jorge's part. Jorge's living his current fantasy. He has his firefighter boyfriend. Everything's going well, and he also the guy from before who was a closet gay who he was sleeping with now came out, so they're trying to hang out more. And Jorge's trying to calm down his boyfriend, like, hey, listen, it's fine. You know, we're just friends. We're just catching up as acquaintance. So next day, the guy comes over. They have a nice breakfast. Jorge decides to dress him up, to put him in drag, see how he looks. And yeah, it turns out Jorge's starting to have feelings for this guy again while he's dating his current boyfriend. So doesn't really know what to do, really. He talks to Pepper about it. Oh, another thing about the Pepper, in the last storyline, she had actually had a scene in the documentary where she's talking about this Twitter war again. It's not heating up so well. And, okay, so back to this one. So Pepper advises him, you know what, why don't you have a threesome? Get it out of your system. Maybe this is just a sexual urgency to have sex with the original guy again before you move on fully to your current boyfriend, which is a possibility. And it worked somehow, but like and this is kind of a very rushed way to end it, but yeah, so they have their threesome, it worked out. But we'll come back to that a little later. The episode ends with Pepper meeting this Hannah. It turns out to be her ex-wife, apparently, from another life years ago. Apparently she ditched her with a $30,000 hotel bill, and she got pissed, and now she's coming back after Pepper. So Pepper just wants to get divorced from her officially since they never properly did. But it seems like this Hannah fella still wants to be with Pepper. So how will Pepper go through this? Who knows? We'll hopefully find out next week. And as the four storylines seemingly come to its end, it turns out it might not be exactly a happily ever after all for these fairy tales, I guess they call them. I really don't know. As we end Jorge waking up the next morning, he sees the two guys that he was wrestling feelings with might be having their own feelings. So, what have you done, Jorge? What have you done? And that kind of wraps up this chapter. Overall, I think this was a pretty good chapter. It was a good chapter. Good chapter, because I said pretty good and then I said good. So it's a good chapter. I just don't think it was it was well edited. Like, this was edited well. Okay, let me retract that statement, but I don't think it was something I enjoyed. I know this was probably experimental, or maybe this was just for the aesthetic of the episode. I didn't like it. I like getting the Golden Girls scenes. I like seeing the four together. I think now, going into the double digits of the series, that's what has been standing out in my mind lately about the show. We get to see the four girls, the four girls together, comparing what they're going on with their lives, how can they help each other. That's what I love. Not having that this week was a bit lacking. I know that each character has to stand out on their own, and that's what this episode was trying to prove, and I understand that. I just really like the Golden Girls scene a lot, that it kind of, that was sort of missing from this, if you know what I mean. And how Josie and the Pussycats, this new iteration work out, we'll see, we'll see what happens, really, because how everything changes moving forward, we'll see what happens. Next week's promo is a very peculiar one, and we are getting an episode next week, so thank God. And yeah, that was pretty much it. So again, so 1.5 thumbs up for me, I guess. Yeah, 1.5. Let's leave it at that. And I think that's going to do it for me. So if you were unaware, this was What's in the Tube from ActionX. If you want to know what we're doing overall, What's in the Tube, we do rookie episode reviews every Sunday after a new episode on Monday. We make new rookie episode reviews every Monday after a new episode on Sunday on ABC. But we're not getting one next week, so that's on break. I'll let you know what that's going to be filled in a little bit. We sadly used to do Nancy Drew episode reviews every Thursday after a new episode on Wednesday. However, Nancy Drew season 1 technically finished. It's over now. The last episode review was the last one for season 1. So what's going to happen with that is that, so next week is, well, I'm going to get back to Nancy Drew in a second, but next week is the 69th episode of What's in the Tube. And I'm a stickler for the 69th episodes. Like, I've been bugging George for months to write his 69th episode for his show, Typical Campus, and he's not been responding very positively to that, even though we are slowly getting close to that number. But however, for us, we are approaching the 69th episode this coming week, so we are reviewing well, not really reviewing. I haven't rewatched the show in particular since I last watched it, so it's going to kind of be a semi-review, such memoriam, something like that. I will be talking about Zane's Sex Chronicles. Oh boy, that episode is going to be... It's going to be a fun one, guys. I hope you stay tuned. Hopefully that's going to draw a lot of heads as I talk a lot about certain stuff. We're beginning the 69th era of this channel, as a lot of our shows are approaching that. Well, not all of our shows, but like majority of the content is slowly drifting towards 69. They've been planned for the 69th episode, so yeah, next Wednesday, that episode's going to be pretty fun. I can't speak English. I'm sorry, guys. So that episode's going to be a fun one. Can't wait to record that. Probably going to wait till it gets like all night-timey and so it can be that'll be a proper backdrop. I don't know. So that will be coming out this coming Thursday. So that will be taken over the Nancy Drew slot because I had said in the last Nancy Drew episode review that we're going to do a season 1 review next week. Well, so because of the 69th episode timing, because I initially thought that it was going to, I thought that we were an episode behind. It turns out we're actually still on schedule. So Nancy Drew season 1 review will be coming out this coming Monday, and then we're going to do the 69th episode on that Thursday time slot, and then next Saturday, which we always do Katy Keene episode reviews after its new episode on Thursday nights on the CW. So Katy Keene unaffected, but if you are curious about Nancy Drew, the whole first season before you even start binging it, I'll let you know in that. That'll be out on Monday. And if you're curious about what's Zane's Sex Chronicles, oh boy, I got a history lesson for y'all. That will be coming out this coming Thursday. And then after that, I'll update the schedule again next week once we get more deeper into that week. But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed. So anyway, once again, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of us, please subscribe to ActionX on YouTube. Please ring the bell for notifications when we have an episode live. Like, favorite, share if you want to. And also follow us on all social media feeds. And I'll see you, Golden Girls, next week. Peace out.